All right, so today we're going to continue factoring polynomials. There's just one thing that's going to look a little different when you first look at the problem, and then the steps change just a little. So let's look up here. So just like yesterday, the degree is going to be 2. Okay, so again, the highest power in the problem is going to be a 2. The number of terms is also going to be 3. 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. So it's a trinomial. Here's what is going to be different. The coefficient, the number, in front of the squared term is not going to be 1. Okay, it's going to be greater than 1. That's the difference between what we did yesterday and today when you just glance at the type of problems that we're going to be working with. So it's not going to be a 1. There's actually going to be a number in front of that x squared. And this is the generic. Okay. And so if you look right down here, okay, that's what it's going to look like. So what you should notice is yesterday it would have just been p squared. Today we actually have a number in front of the squared term. So this is going to have us solve it a little bit differently. We're still going to use the X puzzle. We're still going to use Desmos if we need help with the factors. There are a couple steps extra because of that number in front. So on our X puzzle that we're going to use, we're still going to do factors of up here at the top and then add up to down here in the bottom of our X. And we're going to follow these steps. And I'm telling you now that these steps are not going to make any sense until you actually see us. So just see us work it out. So just write these down. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do what we call slide. Okay. And what slide means is we're going to multiply A and C. Okay. Before we do anything. Okay. Not before we do anything, but this is different than yesterday. So basically what you're going to take is you're going to take the number in front of your squared. You're going to slide it over here with your C, okay, and you're going to multiply them. You're going to take the number in front of your squared, slide it over here with the C, and you're going to multiply them, and that's what you're going to put at the top of your X puzzle. So instead of just putting C, you're going to take the number in front of your X squared and multiply it to the C. A times C. Now, this bottom part of your X puzzle is not going to change. It's still going to be B. Whatever number is hanging out in front of just your X or your single variable, you're just going to put on the bottom. So let's just kind of glance down here at the example before we look at step 2. So 2p squared plus 17p plus 35. They want us to factor this. So just like yesterday, the first step you're going to do is set up your 2 parentheses. It's a p instead of an x. That's fine. Okay, and set that part up. All right, so then once we do that, we're going to create our X puzzle. Okay, now here's what's different than yesterday. This is the slide, step 1. We're going to take the 2, slide it over with the C, which is 35, and we're going to multiply those together. So 2 times 35 gives me 70. Okay, we're not just going to write the 35 like we did yesterday. We have to take into account that number hanging out in front, so we multiply them. And you might want to make a note, that's right up here. Where do we get the 70? We did 2 times 35. Now, we're still going to look for factors of 70. What 2 numbers multiply to give me 70? Okay, now set up the bottom part of your X puzzle. It's still just the number in front of the single variable. So down here, we're going to do 17. And again, just for now, you might want to write add up to, just to remind yourself. Okay, so starting out, we set up our 2 parentheses just like we did yesterday. What's new? We slide 2 over here with the 35 and multiply. That gives me 70. And then we set up our X puzzle. There's the 70, and then what's B, or what's in front of your single variable, 17. So we're looking for factors of 70 that add up to 17. So this part is just like what we did yesterday. Pull up Desmos. Okay, so we can start getting factors. y equals, we want factors of 70, so 70 divided by x. Pull your table. Okay, and look, again, if you don't know where to start with the 2 that you see. Okay, now I can tell you a negative plus a negative, -2 plus -35 is going to give you a negative number. Okay, use a little rationale here. You're looking for a positive number, so that wouldn't make sense to try and the 2 negatives. You could try 2 and 35, but hopefully 2 plus 35 is 37, so you know, we're still off. So let's add some to the table. Stay away from undefined and decimals, so we don't want to use 3, we don't want to try 4. Let's try 5. 5 plus 14, okay, if you can't do it in your head, type it in decimals. That would give me 19. So we're getting closer, right? Getting closer. We want 17. 6, we're not going to use. How about 7 and 10? Well, 7 plus 10, that's my 17. So 7 and 10 are my 2 answers to my X puzzle. So I'm going to write them, 7, 10. Now, just like yesterday, you're going to come over here and transfer them over to your 2 sets of parentheses. So 7 is positive plus 7. 10 is positive plus 10. Now, here's where you're not done, because if you check this in Desmos right now, you will clearly see very quickly that they are not the same graphs. Okay? And that is because right now we haven't done step 2 or 3. Also, just looking at it, remember to multiply these out, you would say p times p. Well, p times p is p squared, and that's not what this says right here. Okay, this says 2p squared. So that's why another way to tell, hey, I'm not done. Okay, so don't stop here. Okay, we're not done because of that 2 hanging out in front of the p squared. So we did step 1, we set up our problem, we solved our X puzzle like we did yesterday. Now we got to do step 2. We didn't have to do this yesterday. Step 2 says divide. So watch this. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to now divide this 7, so I'm going to put a little divide bar, and the 10. So we're going to divide both of the answers that we just put into our parentheses by whatever number is in front of the p squared. Okay, so we're going to divide both 7 and 10 by this 2. And the reason we have to do that is because initially when we set up our X puzzle, we multiplied by 2. So now we got to undo that. We got to back up and undo that. So what's the opposite of multiply? Divide. So I got 7, I got 10. I'm just going to divide both of those by 2, by the number in front of your squared, your coefficient. Now we got to reduce. Okay. Now, again, some are going to be like, oh, I can't reduce. Well, be happy, happy, happy. Desmos reduces for you. 7 divided by 2. Now, Desmos initially is going to give you the decimal. Hit the circle over here on the left. Okay, if it's going to reduce, it would show you the reduced answer right here. Okay, 7 over 2 does not reduce. It just stays 7 over 2. So you're not going to do anything to that except bring it down. You're going to rewrite that whole weird looking thing that you have in parentheses. So you're going to say p plus 7 over 2. Do not change it to a decimal. Don't do that. All right, now we got to do the 10 divided by 2. Now, again, some of you can probably do that in your head. Okay. But 10 divided by 2 actually simplifies or reduces to 5. Okay, so we are going to change that. We're not going to leave it as 10 over 2. If you can get a whole number when you do check to see if it reduces, okay, make your life simpler and just write the whole number. So that's going to be 5. All right, so still not looking right. If you were to type this into Desmos, your graphs wouldn't match with the original problem they gave us because we got to do step number 3, which is bottoms up. Bottoms up means take the denominator of whatever fraction you have left. Sometimes you'll have one fraction. Sometimes both of them will have fractions in it, in your parentheses. This one, we only ended up with one fraction. But we're going to take the denominator, so we're that 2 hanging out down here, because we don't want to leave it like that. Okay, we're not fans of fractions. We're going to take the 2, and we're just going to kick it up front of the p. That's what bottoms up means. Take the 2, kick it to the front. So when I do that, take the 2 and physically kick it to the front, it's going to say 2p. I just move the 2 to the front. Plus, what do we still have left of our fraction? Still got that 7, right? Yep. So don't pretend like it's not there. You can't leave it behind. Take the denominator, bottoms up. Bottoms, bottom of your fraction, up, front of your p. Now, we don't have to do that back here for p plus 5 because there is no fraction. So there's nothing to bottoms up. This is your final factored answer. Okay. Not sure? Head over to Desmos. And you should always, definitely, if you're not much of a checker, please check these. Because we know if you check them or not. Because if you get anything wrong on the paper that you've handed in, we know you didn't check it. Okay, so there's my original. And then, okay, they use p. Remember, to graph, you got to use x. We got 2x plus 7. Okay. And we got x plus 5. And ta-da, look what happens. Original is in green. My answer's in blue/purple. And so I factored it correctly. Okay, now again, the old school way, the ancient way to check that, if you don't like typing stuff into Desmos, is that you would have to come here and do, oh, what's 2p times 2p? Okay, that would be 2p squared. What's 2p times 5? That would be 10p. Then you have to do the same for the 7. What's 7 times p? 7p. What's 7 times 5? 35. Okay, combine your like terms here in the middle. That's where we're coming up with 17p. So, I wouldn't do that. That takes a lot more effort than checking it in Desmos. All right, so let's look at a few more examples. We're not going to do all of these because once you get the hang of it, you just got to keep practicing. We already did number 5. Okay, that's the one we just did. So let's look at number 4. Okay, 9p squared plus 27p plus 8. So first thing we're going to do, parenthesis, parenthesis. They're using p again. Okay, p must be their friends today. And let's set up our x puzzle. So we're going to look for factors of, now remember, because this is not a 1, we have to slide it over with the 8. Okay, and when you slide it over with the 8, you need to multiply them. So that gives me 72. So we're looking for factors of 72. And again, if you need to write that to keep in your head what you're looking for, factors of 72 that add up to, what's in front of just the p? 27. So factors of positive 72 that add up to positive 27. Okay. And now this process is exactly what we learned yesterday. Come over here. Okay, pull up your table so you can look at your factors. Again, a little rationale here. If both of your numbers have to add up to a positive number, okay, and this up at the top of your X puzzle is also positive, okay, wouldn't fool much with the negatives. Why? Because look, -2 plus -36, that's going to give you a negative number. -2 plus -72, that's going to give you a negative number. Don't fool with the undefined. 1 plus 72, 73, not what I'm looking for. 2 plus 36, 38, not what I'm looking for. I am looking for 27. So add some to your table. Do. All right, 3 plus 24. Oh, that's my 27, right? And again, if you're not good or you think you're going to make a mistake somehow, type it in and verify. There's the 27 I'm looking for. Okay, so what did we just figure out? 3 times 24 gives me 72. 3 plus 24 gives me 27. So I have solved my X puzzle. Bring my answer over to my parentheses. Positive 3 is a plus 3. Positive 24 is a plus 24. Now, yesterday we stopped, and we stopped yesterday because there was a 1 in front of our squared. We cannot stop right here. Now we have to do step 2. We have to divide. So, remember, you divide both of the numbers that you just put in your parentheses by the 9, because that's what we initially multiplied by. for the top part of our X puzzle. So divide, divide. So you're going to divide by 9. You're going to divide by 9. Now we're going to reduce. Okay. So come over here. And again, if you can reduce in your head, great. Don't recommend it. Okay. A lot of us are not good at reducing. It's cool. 3 divided by 9. Okay. Again, don't leave it as decimal. Decimals are blah. Hit the circle. Oh, 3 over 9 reduces to 1/3. You have to reduce it. If you don't check to reduce, you're going to end up with the wrong answer. Okay, and when you check it in Desmos, it's going to be the wrong answer. So P plus 1/3. Cool. All right. P plus, now let's see if 24 over 9 simplifies or reduces. I don't know. I'm too tired to think about it. Probably does. Again, hit the circle. Oh, okay, that does reduce. 8/3. So we're going to rewrite P plus 8 over 3. Okay, so we slid. Now we did the divide, slide divide. Last step, bottoms up. Okay, remember, bottom just means bottom of your fraction. So 3 is on the bottom. We're going to kick it up in front of our variable. So that's going to become 3p plus, what do you have on top of your fraction? 1. Okay, don't leave that behind. It is part of your problem. Now, this one, we actually had 2 fractions, so we have to bottoms up every fraction we see. So 3, bottoms up, kick it in front. What do we still have on top of our fraction? So bring it along. Okay. Now, again, you need to check this in Desmos. Okay, you can't eyeball this and go, yeah, it's right. I know it's right. You need to check it in Desmos. And sometimes some of these graphs with the bigger numbers, again, use x. So 9x squared plus 27x plus 8. Okay, and we figured it out to be 3x plus 1 and 3x plus 8. Okay, now you can't see the full U shape, so you might want to zoom out a little. Okay, original is in red. Oh, and the keyboard covers it up, so I'm going to... Original is in red. My answer is in blue. They match up exactly. I did it right. Okay, so please check these in Desmos. Okay, do not try to do these without checking them in Desmos. All right, so let's do one with some negatives in it. So let's do 6. Okay, so again, start out with your 2 sets of parentheses. We're using x again. Set up your x puzzle. Factors of, oh, look, number in front of this. I got to slide it. Now be careful here. You got to slide it over with negative 12. That's a negative 12. So 6 times negative 12 is negative 72. Don't lose the negative. Okay, so we're looking for factors of negative 72 that add up to what number is in front of x, even though we don't ever write it? 1. Okay, factors of negative 72 that add up to positive 1. Pay attention to that, okay, because that is important. So negative 72 divided by x, pull my table. Okay, so again, don't know where to start. Negative 2 plus 36. Positive 34. Not what I'm looking for. You could try negative 1 and 72. I'm going to tell you it's not going to work. Don't use undefined. Okay, you could try 2 plus negative 36, but all that's going to do is flip your sign. Negative 34 instead of positive 34. So that tells me I need to add to my table, add a few. All right, so let's try 3 and negative 24. And again, if you're good at this with your head, you don't have to do this. Negative 21. No. 4 and negative 18. Negative 14. No. Don't use 5 because of the decimal. Let's try 6 and negative 12. Negative 6. And I've totally forgot what we're looking for. Oh, a positive 1. Lord. Okay, so keep going, because sometimes it'll take you a minute to get to the numbers that work. Skipping 7 because of the decimal. All right, let's try 8 plus negative 9. Okay, negative 1. Do I want negative 1? Ugh, positive 1. Dang. All right, well, let's try the next one. 9 and negative 8. Oh, okay, finally, there's my positive 1. So 9 times negative 8 gives me negative 72. 9 plus negative 8 gives me positive 1. It took a minute, but I got there. So positive 9, come over here and write them in your parentheses. Negative 8. Okay, good. Now again, remember, we're not done. We're not done because of the 6 in front of our x squared. So we slid, we did our x puzzle. Okay, we got our parentheses. Now we got to do step 2, slide, divide. And remember, you're going to divide both of the answers that you just put into your parentheses. And you divide by what's in front of your squared. So divide both by 6. Okay. Pop over to Desmos. Take all this junk out. Okay, so you're not looking everywhere. Okay, 9 divided by 6, does it reduce? The answer is yes, 3 over 2. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to say x plus 3 over 2. Okay. And now we're going to do 8 over 6. So 8 divided by 6. Okay, oh, that also reduces. Okay. Never assume that you're sure that it reduces. Okay, check it. So minus 4/3. Because sometimes a fraction can look like it's not going to reduce, but in reality it does. All right, so we reduced our fraction. So we slid, we did our x, we figured it all out. We divided, last step, bottoms up. Okay, so take the bottom number of your fraction and kick it to the front. So that's going to become 2x plus, what do we still have? A 3. Do the same thing because we have 2 fractions, bottoms up. And you don't have to circle and draw the arrow. I just do that to show you what's happening. So take it, stick it in front of your x. We still have the minus, we still have the 4. Okay, and then head over to Desmos and check it. Okay, your graphs will match. That way you know you did it right. All right, so what I want you to do like you did yesterday is I want you to try a couple. So try 7 and 8. Okay. Pause the video, try 7 and 8, and then come back and check and make sure that you solved it. Or if you run into trouble, come back and watch me work them out. So pause, go try 7 and 8, and come back. All right, so number 7, set up my parentheses. Now I'm going to set up my x puzzle. Okay, because of that 3 in front, I got to slide it bloop, over here with the 20. 3 times 20 is 60. Okay, so factors of 60 that add up to negative 32. Factors of 60 that add up to negative 32. So I pop over to Desmos, pull my table so I can look at factors. So I'm not going to sit here and kill my brain. So factors of 60 that add up to negative 32. All right, so again, don't know where to start. Try the first couple. And shockingly enough, the first actually works, and I don't have to do a bunch of work. Yay. All right, so negative 2 and 30 work. Yay. Negative 2, sorry, and negative 30. I said 30, I think. When you multiply them, you get positive 60. When you add them, you get negative 32. All right, so minus 2, minus 30. Okay, so slide, did all that. Divide. Okay, so I got to divide both of the numbers I just put in my parentheses. So put the little bars. What number's in front of the squared? 3. Divide both by 3. Okay, check. Okay, even if you're like, it's already reduced. Okay, just check. Takes like 3 seconds. Okay, 2/3 is reduced. And then what we had, 30 over 3. That actually comes out to be just a whole number. So that's going to save us one little step. So the a minus 2/3 does not change. It's already reduced. The a minus 30 divided by 3 just becomes a minus 10. Okay, so slide, divide, last step. Bottoms up. Only the fraction bottoms up. So that's going to become 3a minus, still got 2. Okay, so don't leave it behind. And then we don't have to bottoms up this parentheses. because there is no bottom of a fraction. Check it in Desmos. Yay, it works. All right, number 8. Okay, so set up my parentheses. I noticed the 9 in front of my squared, so that tells me I have to slide divide bottoms up. That should pop right into your brain now. So we got to slide the 9 over with the 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, so we're looking for factors of 36 that add up to 20. Head over to Desmos so I can pull up my table. Y equals 36 divided by x. Okay, and again, you can start -2 plus -18. Can tell you that's going to give you a negative number. We're not looking for a negative number, so we want positive 20. Okay, so here's a little shortcut hint. Hey, look, it's negative 20. I want it to be positive 20. Okay, so then try one of the numbers that you see, -2 or -18. Try making it positive. Okay, now normally I'd say come here, okay, tap on the box, the empty box, and type in one of the numbers without the sign. But if you notice, they already got 2 and 18. They already got 2 as positive. So what's 2 plus 18? 20. So there you go. 2 and 18 are my solutions to my puzzle here. So positive 2, positive 18, multiply to give me 36. 2 plus 18 gives me 20. So I put them over here in my parentheses. Plus 2 plus 18. Okay. Slide divide. Got to divide. So divide both of the answers I just wrote by the number in front of the squared. 9 and 9. Check and see if they are reduced. Take all this junk out. So 2 divided by 9. It's already reduced. What was the other one? 18. Okay, and to go 18 divided by 9. Now, some of you might be able to figure out that's 2. So 2 over 9 stays. 2 over 9. It is reduced. So we're just going to rewrite it. Don't skip this step, because some people try to skip this step and then they get confused. Don't skip it. Okay, if it doesn't reduce, just rewrite it. A plus 18 divided by 9 gave us just 2. So slide divide, last step, bottoms up. Take whatever's on the bottom of your fraction, kick it to the front. So that becomes 9a plus, we still got 2, so bring it along. And then back here, we don't have to bottoms up because there is no fraction. Check it in Desmos. Graphs will match. Good to go. Just remember, use X when you check it in Desmos, not A. All right, so if you have any further questions, please let us know.